is up, my magic miscreants? Risen Dragon here with a fun deck for you today. And no, this is not the deck. We're starting off with the cards that got the banhammer today. And we are talking about some pretty big ones here. Well, kind of, sort of. All I'm going to say is this. I think that Wizards has to do a better job with dealing with the power creep. Because there are cards that literally, when you play them, you're like, how is this card still in existence in its current form? And a few of these cards are on that list. So we're going to take it step by step to begin with, as far as, kind of why they got banned and kind of my rationale behind it, whether I think it deserved it or not. And this one, Hopeless Nightmare, absolutely deserved to get banned. Especially when you play it with like a Pixie deck or some sort of other bounce deck. This is 100% just a completely busted card. You discard a card and they lose 2 life. Now that to me is like, oof. So you have to balance it out, especially if you're going to be playing like bounce and exile spells in your deck. You literally can just drain an opponent and you keep casting this card over and over and over and over again. And it should have been banned a while ago, to be completely honest. I think there was one Pro Tour earlier in the year where Esper Pixie was the big deck. And it kind of faded out once Izzet Prowess came into play. But I think that this card right here, we've played it a bunch of times. It definitely deserved the ban hammer. It's just really, really powerful for a 1-drop. I think if you maybe, bumped it up to like a 3-drop, then maybe it's good. But it's just really just powerful, powerful card. And quite frankly, that deserved it. Heartfire Hero, kind of the same thing. Whenever this creature becomes the target of a spell or ability you control for the first time each turn, you put a +1/+1 counter on it. And when it dies, it deals damage equal to its power to each opponent. So here's the thing. You pair this off with, say, a Monstrous Rage or an Ember Heart. What was that card? Oh, Manifold Mouse. And it just becomes this absolute beast of a card. And if you throw in stuff like Burn Together, I mean, you can literally one-shot the opponent probably on move 3, and they have to respond to it. It just was not... It was not a case of, spot removal. It dies to spot removal, which is always my argument for certain cards, is it dies to removal. Well, the problem is, in this case, it's that last section here. When this creature dies, it deals damage equal to its power to each opponent. That, to me, was the big kicker there. I think that if this card had just the Valiant part, I think this card might be a little more balanced for its worth. I think that if you bumped this up to maybe a 3 or a 4-drop, again, I think that then it becomes a little bit less of an issue. But the big thing was here is like it's a 1-drop creature. And the moment that I saw this card hit the battlefield, I'm like, we're toast. We are cooked. Because you get cards like Monstrous Rage thrown in. And this card right here, again, for a 1 mana. Basically, on turn 2, you're smacking your opponent for at least 5 points of damage if you've got, say, a Monastery Swift Spear out there on the battlefield. So this card right here, absolutely, for its cost, totally broken, because it's a +2/+0 till end of turn. Create a monster roll, which gives it +1/+1. So instantly that Monastery Mentor becomes, in essence, I'm trying to do math in my head here. Yeah, it becomes a 5, but at least a 4. No, 5. It becomes at least a 5-power creature on turn 2. And you're smacking in, and already your opponent's going to be down at least 1 life. No, exactly 1 life if you've got that Monastery Swift Spear on the battlefield. So Monstrous Rage, absolutely. Again, I think if they bump this up to something a little bit higher, at least a 3-drop or a 4-drop. And I'm going to keep saying that repeatedly, because I do think these cards, I think if they were a bit higher in cost, it would be it would be a tad more balanced. So again, just for what it's worth, I mean, it just caused mono red to go so fast. Speaking of mono red, Quarry Steel Cutter. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has Trample and Haste for Flurry. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, create a 1/1 white monk creature token with prowess, and you may attach it to that, I mean, no, absolutely broken card. And when I saw this card in the previews, I was like, yeah, this is getting banned. 100% getting banned. All the cards up to this point deserved the ban. Up to this point. Okay, Corey Steelcutter absolutely deserved to be cut. Absolutely. Just so fast, so devastating very early on. And turn 3, you're smacking in for an insane amount of damage, especially with like a Heartfire hero, Monstrous Raged, you know, those sorts of things. So absolutely, I think Corey Steelcutter deserved to get it. Up the Beanstalk. Now, this is one that I was like, this is a bit sketch to me, but I can understand why they did it. When this enchantment enters, and whenever you cast a spell with mana value 5 or greater, draw a card. The problem is when you put the Overlord cycle in the next, not the next set, but the set after that, that's when you start to really be like, okay, this is where it's broken, because that is a card that actually has, like, say, Overlord of the Mistmoors, for example. You cast that for 2 white and 2 other mana, so mana value of 4, but I think the total mana value was like 6 or 7 off the top of my head. I can't remember. I don't play that card very often. But the big one was the green Overlord, which, again, it escapes me at the moment. It's been kind of a long day, and I'm just kind of doing this off the cuff. Literally was not going to do a video tonight. I was going to focus on AoE for the evening, but I was like, we got to do a video for these bans. But I think this card, out of all the 7 that got banned, I'm not sure this deserved it, to be completely honest. I do think it gave mono green and those sorts of decks some good card advantage, but again, feel free to disagree. I don't think Up the Beanstalk deserved to be banned. I do think, again, if it was bumped up to maybe like a 3 or a 4 mana value, I think it would have been at least a tad more balanced. But you drop that on your second turn, and you can start, you know, gaining a lot of card advantage from there. Abuelo's Awakening, I can see why they did this. Omniscience decks, you know, with the mill stuff, I can understand why. I mean, I think that's absolutely, I think this card deserved it. I was trying, it's too bad too, to an extent, because I was trying to get, you know, City on Fire on board, but it just didn't come out that way. So I do think this card deserved it, because no one wants a turn like 4 Omniscience. All right, and if you're lucky, I mean, you could probably ramp into this on turn 3. I'm trying to think if you can do it that way. No, I don't see how you could. No, I really don't see how you could. Oh, no, you could actually do it. If you get a Llanowar Elf. Yeah, if you get 2 Llanowar Elves or some sort of mana dork, get Llanowar Elves turn 1, get a land, play another mana dork, turn 3. Yeah, you could easily get a turn 3 Omniscience with this card. Absolutely. I can understand why this got the ban. Same goes with This Town Ain't Big Enough. Costs 3 less to cast if it targets a permanent you control. I mean, this card plus this card right here, absolutely, totally bomb. And I think that it would turn up to 2 target non-land permanents to their owner's hands. Again, you're trying to, you're playing with, you know, your own stuff, especially when you do something like this, or in a Pixie deck, or even in a Storm Chaser's Talent build. You can just absolutely wreck with this card. So I can understand 6 out of the 7 bans. I can understand Up the Beanstalk. I'm a little bit more leery on. I'm not totally disagreeing with it, but I do think there was some upside. Do I think it was balanced? No, not really. I think you bump it up. All these cards, these smaller cards right here, bump these up to like a 3 or 4 mana value, and it's, I mean, I think they might be okay, but Up the Beanstalk, I'm a little bit leery on. So where do we go from here as far as Standard is concerned? Well, a lot of things. I think that Prowess is going to go bye-bye. I think Mono Red is not going to be as powerful, which is okay, considering that I think Mono Red's got plenty of tools to work with, and you're going to see that in the next deck. So please stay tuned for that. It's going to be a deck tech on a Mono Red build, a Banproof Mono Red build. So please stay tuned. Feel free to comment. Again, I'm again disagreeing with Up the Beanstalk, but only marginally. Everything else, totally agree with. So have at it. Please be respectful in the comments, and we'll converse in that way. But stay tuned for our next deck. Okay, and here is that deck. We're looking at mono red. Yeah, we're looking at mono red. We got booted back down to bronze because we didn't play enough rated games to get into gold, but that is totally fine. Good time to experiment on stuff and look at stuff post ban. So I've tried this sort of deck before where it's almost like an old school quote-unquote mono red Sly build, which was really popular back in the mid 90s when MTG first came out. And basically the point is to have a lot of cheap spells, pump up your creatures, swing in for max damage, go from there. So let's and not only swing in for max damage, but also, burn people's faces. So let's see what this entails. Bolt Wave for 1 deals 3 damage to each opponent. Pretty straightforward. Burst Lightning with Kicker 4 deals 2 damage to any target. If it was kicked, it deals 4 damage instead. Cacophony Scamp, which is kind of like your Heartfire hero, but you got to do more with this in order to make it sing. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, you may sack it. If you do, proliferate. When this creature dies, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. So again, you can smack in for damage. You can pump it up with stuff like I'll get there in a second. Felonious Rage, Might of the Meek, those sorts of things. You can pump that up and do some really insane damage. Crash Through, creatures you control gain trample till end of turn, draw a card. That's the big thing, is draw a card. Fanatical Firebrand, with haste, you can sack it and deals 1 damage to any target. It does have haste, we have to remember that. Felonious Rage, with an instant, target creature you control gets +2/+0 and gains haste until end of turn. When that creature dies, create a 2/2 white and blue detective creature token. Okay, so fun stuff there. Fire Magic, this is an interesting one, kind of a board sweeper. With tiers, if we don't tier it, just cast it for what it is, deals 1 damage to each creature. Not bad. Fira, we add 2, it deals 2 damage to each creature, and Fraga, it deals for 5 more, it deals 3 damage to each creature. So it's a nice little board sweep to have early on, just taking care of your weenie type creatures. Get 2 Lava Runner. As long as there are 2 or more instant or sorcery cards in your graveyard, it gets +2/+0 and has haste. This card is really underplayed, I think, in the format, and kind of for good reason. I mean, but in this deck, it kind of works. It's really super fast deck. Or super fast card, I should say. Might of the Meek. Target creature gains trample until end of turn. It also gets +1/+0 until end of turn. If you control a mouse, again, draw a card. Monastery Swift Spear, we've gone over this. Haste and Prowess for a 1-drop with 1/2. Good stuff. Emberheart Challenger with Haste and Prowess. Whenever this creature becomes the target of a spell or ability you control for the first time each turn, exile the top card of your library until the end of turn. You may play that card. Manifold Mouse, we are putting this one in because we are running enough mice, I think. Maybe just 1. But the point is the target mouse, it can be this mouse, it can be any mouse. We pump this up, gains double strike or trample until end of turn. And it is just kind of a beastie card to have. Sideboard, Lithomanic Barrage, in case we're up against a white or blue decks. Shock, just for more burn. Brotherhood's End. Lightning Strike I considered as a main deck, but I think with the mana cost being high for this particular one, I was like, yeah, we'll throw it in the sideboard instead. Scorching Dragonfire, same deal. That deals 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker. We exile it if it dies instead. Into the Fire, also kind of in that same mold. Kind of high for this deck as far as mana value and mana cost are concerned. So this is our deck. I'm not going to call it a mono red Sly build because that would be an insult to the original Sly stuff, and I'm just an amateur doing my thing after a long day of work. So I think that mono red definitely does have more tools, even though 2 of its main cogs got banned today. I do think that it does have enough tools to still be valid. It'll always be valid, I think, in the standard format. So we're going to give this deck a spin. If you like what you see, please like, please subscribe. If you're new to my channel, we do a best of 1 and a best of 3, so you can see how the deck functions in either one of those environments. So without further ado, let's get to the Banproof mono red games, kids. We're against Tak for our best of 1 matchup. They go first. Hey, we actually have 2. How fun is this? We will keep. Is that has Valiant? That has Haste. So Haste, Prowess, and Valiant, so absolutely. I think we're gonna give this a shot. If Doc will so kindly figure out who's going first, we will play this deck. So like I said, please watch the first like 10 minutes of my video so you can hear my thoughts, if you so choose. I mean, if you've made it this far, then great. One of our elves, guess what? That dies. Dies to removal. There we go. Boom. Cool. I think we're gonna save a few of these. So what we might do is put down the Emberheart Challenger, throw a Bolt Wave down, and see what they do. Botanical Brawler. Heck yes. Get me more of that. Woo-hoo, yes sirree. There we go. No, does that? That's just a sorcery. Yeah, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. I just don't want to have any... do we do a bonus best of 1? I don't know. We're against the Jolly Flying Man for our best of 3 matchup. We are on the play. Not the worst of keeps. You can do a cut down or duress. I would go with a duress. Oh, a Molt Tender. How cool are you? Do Cacophony Scamp. May have... Actually, here's what we do. We do this. I'm willing to sacrifice everything. Now we want to be careful because we don't want to... Yeah, we don't want to overplay our hand too much. Which is why we're doing it this way, because at least this way we cast Felonious Rage on the Emberheart Challenger, and we can gain exile. We can gain the exile stuff. So, yeah, we got a nice little combo deck. It looks like, in theory, I should say. I mean, I think that the Emberheart Challenger is gonna go bye bye. Oh, hey, Scavenging Ooze. Oh yeah, because you can. Boom. So why? Oh, yeah, that's why you do that. Yeah, that's why you do that. Okay. That's totally why you do that. Okay, cool. Oh, hey, check it out. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do... And then we're going to swing. Make you choose here, kid. Boom! That's what I'm talking about. You can go Bolt Wave. Boom! Tyvar. Go, brother.
This will be quick. Rally, my friend.
Okay, and that goes to the battlefield up under you. Can't quite do anything with that yet, though, kid. Maybe you can. Oh, yeah, do you... Oh, Haywire Might. That's cool. I don't know why you would... No, that's why you would do that. Alright, so we're just going to swing in. They'll block. Yep. Okay, there's a block. Boom. Okay, they gain 2... Oh, yeah, that's right. They gain 2 life. Dagnabbit. Okay, well... Oh, hey, they found your 4th land. There you go. Now watch, we're running 18 lands, and we're gonna end up Shieldred. Hey, how fun are you? Yeah, we'll just do that. Untap. Yep. Okay, that works.
Show
that
them
works.
what you're made of.
Oh, I see what you do there. Okay, cool. Uh-huh. Channel Dragon Fire. Deals 2 damage to any target. Yeah, let's go with that. It's not going to get us there, but it's certainly... it just kind of shows you what that deck can do. You got to come out of the gate swinging. And you can't really let them build up a big board. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to take out the Fire Magic, because I do want to put in more of those just for more damage. I think that should get us across the finish line. We'll see what happens, though. Because again, we got Bolt Wave, we've got Burst Lightning, we got the Lightning Strikes. Yeah, I mean, we got some fun stuff here. Okay, so let's do this. I think we're going to get 2 Lava Runner in... Oh, I don't know. I think Cacophony Scamp is also not a bad idea. We haven't drawn at all into our Swift Spears in this best of 3 match. So... Okay. Down our elves. Yeah, sure. There we go. Go Burst Lightning. Go Burst Lightning. Cacophony Scamp. Channel Dragonfire on that. Yeah, we're just gonna do that. Decline. Get 2 Lava Runner into Burst Lightning, and we should be good. Oh, Dredger's Insight. How fun are you? It's kind of a Dredge build. Ooh, boy, there's some fun cards in there. Took back your Shieldred. Okay, well, that works too. Did you crash through? Let's draw a card. Oh, hey, check that out. That gains that anyways, and here we go. Decline. Yes. Boom. Surveil 2. Surveil 2. Alright, oh, hey, check it out. Longest Rage, even more. What? Why couldn't I do that? Oh, what? I don't understand. Oh, I see. A creature you control to reduce that power. Okay, so I think I have to... Alright, there's that. Okay, fun. Bye. Okay, cool. Go 2 and 2 with this build tonight. I'm liking it. Liking it a lot. Good call subbing in the Lightning Strike there. I think now that these cards are banned, I do think you're going to see a lot more creativity with the decks, and I really do think that, you know, you're going to see a little bit of a wider variety, which also kind of begs the question, what do they have up their sleeve with this particular, with that next set that's coming out? That's going to be the big thing. I'm very curious about that next set. I'm very, very curious. I'm liking that idea, though. I was psyched for Aether Drift, being a racing fan, but it just was underwhelming. Just really, really, really underwhelming. I was not a fan. It has a couple good cards. Like, Stock Up is a really good card, and that's a card that I was not... I was glad that one didn't get banned, to be completely honest, because I really do think that card in the right deck does make a whole load of difference, so... Agatha's so Cauldron. And again, we gotta start doing damage and doing damage fast. Simply because, you know, they don't want. Oh yeah, Scavenging Ooze. Yeah, we're not. No, you're dead. To the face. To the face. Why would you do that? Oh, yeah, there you go. Okay, good idea. Oh, no, I didn't mean to do that. That's okay. That's okay. Did you miss a land drop? Because that would be hilarious if you missed a land drop. Haywire Might. Yeah. Okay, I can see why you would do that. You're gonna gain some life. Kind of curious what the delay was there, but... Now, do you sack the Haywire Might to take out your own Soul Cauldron? Question is no. You do not. You gain life, but you're going to get back down to 7, so okay. It's another Scavenging Ooze, okay. So that's going to go up to a 3, and we're going to have a little bit of trouble here. Yep, and this is where we have a problem. This is where it really starts to get... Okay, well, we might be okay here. Okay. Molten Tender. Insidious Roots. Okay, cool. So you're gonna do that, and you're going to put down a... Oh yeah, I get that. Alright, fun. Ping. Malt Tender. Sure, take the Firebrand, that's fine. Off the top, do I get a Bolt Wave or some sort of channeled Dragonfire, that sort of thing? Nope, we get a land. Alright, well, not going anywhere with that one. Oh, so that's a fun little combination you can do there. I like that. I like that. That is clever. That is very clever. Haywire Might. That is extremely clever. Ooh, that's a good use of that card. Haywire Might is definitely a fun card to have. Hold on. Oh no! Alright, well, bye-bye. Yep, okay, so that's not... Alright, now we're in trouble. Yep, tide has turned. Alright, good game. Alright, let's go to the post-game analysis. Okay, so has Mono Red lost a little bit of an edge as far as this format is concerned with the new bans? I would say maybe a tad, but I do think if you play around with it, I think it could come through. I think the big challenge with this deck is we have to make sure that these two cards right here, I think we're going to have to bump those up to 4 and 4. I think absolutely get rid of like Fire Magic and maybe throw in another Channeled Dragonfire or some sort of burn, maybe a Bolt Wave or something like that, because we're not doing enough damage to our opponent. If they have any sort of lifelink or life gain, this deck is it's toast. So I do think though that there's room for improvement. I do think that with the bans that have come through, I do think that Mono Red is going to be still viable. It's always been viable in any format ever since the mid-90s. So I do think this deck's a little bit of a throwback to those times, and hopefully you think so as well. If you like what you see, please like, please subscribe, and as always, in Magic Miscreants, may you always be on the play. May all your spells hit the battlefield. Risen Dragon is out. Enjoy the rest of your Monday.